Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm doing another one of these. Welcome to the World Cup Show. I'm your host, Sandra Mexican, and welcome to another segment of How They Got There. As you all know, I have Mexican attire and Mexican luchador mask that I've been on, and a Mexican soccer. Okay, not really a Mexican soccer hat. Trust me, my dad had a huge sombrero. See, I can't help myself. I'm talking about one of my the country where my father came from, and we all know what anthem that is. What anthem that is, ladies and gentlemen. We all have to learn it eventually if we want to not speak. What's the word I'm looking for here? Yeah, I'm going off screen, and there we go. We're going to be talking about, of course, I just mentioned it, and I mentioned it in the last video. Give me a second. Oh my god, that's upside down. I would have had to paid. How much money does it cost to desecrate the Mexican flag? Oh, 10,000 pesos. That's not good. One of the loudest national anthems in the world. Hopefully we'll beat Brazil that time. Now, on to the team. El Tricolor, or El Tre, as how the men would put it. But now we look at the previous attempts that they tried. I don't know why I did that. The mask sometimes, it's too tight. 1991 qualifier, they got third in the group stage, not good. 1995, they got in the group stage, didn't qualify on that one. But they qualified for the first time in 1999 thanks to beating Mexico in the Argentina in the playoff. To qualify them to the group stage, and possibly one of the worst memories of Mexican soccer history. Trust me, we'll get to that, and it's even painful to talk about. 2003, they went into a playoff with lost to Japan. Then playoff lost to Japan. So Japan went instead of Mexico to the World Cup. Then they qualified for 2011, and more of a better site, but still learning apparently. And group stage equals yeah. Now we look at their previous attempts before we talk about how they got there. Yep. Yep, okay. Previous attempts. In 1999, their first appearance. Mexico's first appearance was actually a... Yeah, literally, really bad. It's a mixture of what happened with North Korea, the North Korea men's team to Portugal. You'll get what I mean because I'm going to say it right here. They lost 7-1 to Brazil. Possibly one of the worst defeats in Mexican soccer history. Trust me, it is. Then a 6-0 loss to Germany. Wow, it's just not getting better for them at all, is it? Then a 2-0 loss to Italy. 2-0 loss to Italy. Why does that remind me of something? Oh, yeah. And that ended their World Cup, and I think they ended up last. And you know what? I'm glad I didn't look that part up because that's embarrassing, dude. That's embarrassing. Then, now we go into 2011. Mexico. Mexico has their first game. Mexico's first game versus England was actually more of a historic moment because not only did a long range goal tie it up, Mexico survived the entire game and they pressured England in that whole game and it ended 1-1. But then the 4-0 loss to Japan with a hat trick, bringing back the old memory of what happened in 1999. It made the road really hard, even though they were leading and they could have won their first ever game. Unfortunately, they gave up a 2-0 lead in the last. In the last 10 minutes of the game to New Zealand. Actually, the last 4 minutes of added time in that game. They how do I explain it? They gave up the first goal in the 90th minute. Then 4 minutes later, they let New Zealand tie it, and that ended the chances of Mexico making a historic moment in Germany. It could have worked, but unfortunately, something happened with the coach over there. Then now how they got there. That's one thing I didn't write down because this is what's going to happen. They were placed in Group B. No, were they? No, they were. Yeah, they were put in Group B. Group B in the CONCACAF Women's Championship, and their opening loss to Costa Rica kind of put them in a really, really big situation. But 10-0 defeat to Martinique, yes, that did happen, and there were brilliant goals that came out of that. And then a 3-1 victory over Jamaica got them to the next round, and they faced their old nemesis and rival, the United States. And unlike their performance in the last two games they played, they let USA crap on them and lost 3-0. They barely even shot a goal on Hope Solo. It was just, wow. She ended up becoming goalie of the tournament of that whole tournament. Did she deserve it? I don't know. But, however, Mexico was so close of getting eliminated in the third place match that it had... Because a minute later, they ended up tying the game 2-2 versus Trinidad and Tobago, and then in extra time, they won 4-2 to go to Canada. Good job. While Trinidad and Tobago, we all know what happened between them and Ecuador. Ecuador ended up advancing in that playoff round, and yeah, so that's how it is. And like I said last time, here we go again. Group stage, Group F. Group F, that's how they say Group F, Group F, Group F, Group F, something like that during the World Cup draw. And then the France, England, Colombia, that's who Mexico is playing, but it goes in this order. Mexico is on the bottom. They face Colombia in their first game on the 9th of June. Then face England on the 13th of June. Then last game against France is the 17th of June. And that's it for the Mexican soccer team. If you guys were humming the national anthem or singing it, even though some of the soccer players mumble it because they don't know all the words to it, then that will do it for today's segment. Join me next time as I talk about England. Yes, the Free Lionesses, and they had a good run too. Until then, I'm Johnson Mexican. John's Mexican World Cup show. Hold on, and come on, it's getting to me. And that'll do it for how they got there. So until then, later, soccer ringos.